Good morning, everyone. My name is John Heerdink, and welcome to our Tribe Public CEO presentation titled From Insight to Action, AI Agents That Continuously Cut Your Cloud Cost, which will be co-hosted by Pradeep Gaddam, CEO of Pebble Incorporated. Quickly, Pebble is a company that is at the forefront of the booming AI-powered sustainability market, strategically positioned with the AI hybrid cloud sector projected to grow over 13 times in the next 5 years. Their innovative platform empowers enterprises to dramatically reduce costs, energy consumption, carbon emissions, and water usage by optimizing AI cloud data centers across hardware, software, and inference in real time. By seamlessly integrating cutting-edge technology with sustainable practices, Pebble has not only delivered measurable operational efficiencies, but also driving a profound and scalable environmental impact. Their website is www.gopebble.com. As many of you know, I'm also the managing member of Tribe Public. Our website is tribepublic.com. That's TRIBE public.com. And members from 31 plus countries in all 50 states have joined the Tribe Public freely to gain direct corporate access to leaders and experts that they care about via webinar events and via 41 venue sites located across the US, where we host community building, in-person lunch and dinner and speaking engagements with local Tribe members. Tribe members, furthermore, are invited to submit names of experts and leaders of industry via our free wish list process at our website, adding names of companies and experts that they would like to meet to learn more. Please note that I'm also the managing director of Vista Partners LLC, a registered investment advisory in California, and its website is vistapglobal.com. Please review both sets of disclaimers at each site and know that I'm currently a shareholder advisor to Pebble. I would also like to thank you all for participating and for all of your questions you have submitted to us before this event, and remind that you can continue to send in more questions via the Zoom chat feature during this event, and we'll do our best to get them addressed by Pradeep. Also, a video of this event will be published at our Tribe Public YouTube channel and be sent out to all post this event via the Tribe this week. Our weekly e-newsletter that goes out at the end of each week will also have it included. I want to thank again Pradeep Gaddam, and also a thank you to Pebble for joining us today. And now let's get started in introducing Pradeep. Pradeep, would you be so kind to tell us a little bit about yourself and about Pebble, and then get into your PowerPoint?
Absolutely. Thank you, John, first of all, for having me here on this platform. And good morning, good afternoon to the folks, depending on where you're watching this from. My name is Pradeep Gaddam. I'm the CEO of Pebble. At Pebble, we help cut your Kubernetes cloud costs. Now, as you all are now very sure on how the AI is going to explode in the next few years, one of the interesting things that you will all watch is how the inference clusters are going to explode in the next couple of years. Now, Kubernetes is a default platform to run all the AI inference workloads, and GPUs are very expensive. So the cloud has already seen a transformation of going from security to cost optimization, and we are here to help with that moment that we are just about to witness in the next couple of years. And at Pebble, we cut 10 to 40% of your Kubernetes cloud costs. We are the world's first company that can optimize CPU and GPU clusters running on any hyperscaler right now. We're backed by NVIDIA, and we're also backed by Google AI Accelerator Program. Now, we're also backed by a great team. So my name is Pradeep Gaddam. Like I just mentioned, so I've come to Pebble from Dropbox. I was a head of engineering there. I was managing multiple teams responsible for monetizing free users to paid users using AI, and also at the same time responsible for infrastructure at Dropbox. Now, before that, I built and sold a company called WeAdmit Technologies. And prior to that, I was at companies like Intel, View, done a lot of infra work before. And we have Janice Martin, who is our CCO, comes from HP, global head of sales there. comes with a lot of cloud and data center background. And Keval Shah is our AI scientist. He's responsible for all the amazing models that power a lot of this cloud wastage cut. And then Will is our CFO. We're also backed by a great board. Carl Page is Larry Page's brother, who is a great believer in this company and a big supporter. Same with Philip Cousteau. I don't know how many of you know his grandfather, Jack Cousteau, but big believer. Chet White runs Helios Alpha Fund, is a lead investor in the company and also the chairman of Pebble. Mike Tesler is a serial entrepreneur. Recently sold BroadSoft as a CEO, brings a lot of cloud and data center experience. Same with Ravi, recently retired from Cisco, sold a lot of equipment to hyperscalers and data centers all his life. So we're backed by a great board who has a wealth of experience in what we are trying to do. Now, what is it that we are trying to do? Well, GPUs are expensive. GPUs are not only scarce, but also very expensive. They consume a lot of power. So the cost per GPU is way, way higher compared to the cost per CPU, which many people are used to. Now, since GPUs are expensive, wasting them is going to be a big, big deal for enterprises. Now, what we do at Pebble is we look at these large AI clusters running on these hyperscalers, and we constantly save dollars by making sure you're not wasting your dollars on idle GPUs running in these clusters. Now, we'll get into more details in terms of how we accomplish this. I'll give you a tour of the product, which is ready to go. But I just wanted to give you a quick glimpse of what is it that I'm talking about here. Now, imagine a cloud which is spending $450K before perfect fit. We will save almost half of that, about $220K from this level of spend. So that's a huge, huge cost savings. And we managed to do all of this without affecting the performance of the applications. Now, very easy to install. It's a pure SaaS-based model. It takes 5 minutes for you to set up. You install a lightweight AI agent in your cluster, and then in like 24 hours, you will start seeing all the cost savings reflecting on your dashboard. And then we give you all possible ways to harvest those cost savings. So this is like the real dollars that start showing up in your monthly bill as you start applying all these cost savings. Now, with this, I would like to quickly move on to the product, show you exactly how this product works, so you all are very familiar, and then we can do a quick Q&A after that. With that, let me actually show you what is it that I'm talking about. So what you're seeing here is called Perfect Fit. That's Pebble Perfect Fit is the name of the agent. And what I'm showing you here is a demo cluster where we scanned this cluster, and then we uncovered that there is $9,970 being wasted per month right now in this small little cluster. And we're saying that we can not only eliminate that waste, but we can also save more than that, which is $10,250. And the reason for that is a lot of the people don't know how to share GPUs. Sharing GPUs is a complex process, but we set it all up for you. So you not only know how to eliminate the wastage, but you can also discover ways where you can share. Like, for example, if you're running an application, you're training a model, and the model is running on an entire GPU. But after looking at your application usage and the future usage, we know that you don't need an entire GPU. You may need maybe 1/10 of a GPU. So we actually split your GPU into 10 slices and give one slice to you and give the 9 slices to the other applications running in your cluster. Now, these kind of savings really contribute to a lot of the cost savings that we'll be seeing in a bit. Now, please note that it's easy to get started. as simple as just adding a cluster here. You write the name of the cluster. We'll give you a secure command that you need to run in your cluster. And then in like 5 minutes, you start seeing a dashboard like this. And interesting thing is you can add clusters from anywhere. Let's say you're a company, you have some clusters on AWS, someone has some on-prem. You can add all of them in like one place. And then we start, aggregating data from all these clusters into one place. Now, we also give you a breakdown in terms of what's happening in this cluster. For example, we sort of show you how the resource, what is the available GPU memory and what's the usage breakdown is, at the cluster level. And then we give you all kinds of ways for you to slice and dice and understand this data. Now, anyone can add clusters free of cost. We don't charge anything. You can add your clusters. You can actually look at the cost savings that you would get. And if you're convinced that the cost savings make sense, now we take you to a place where you can actually reap all these cost savings. Now, there is an agentic mode for this application where you toggle a button and say, hey, I don't want any humans in the loop. Just do all the heavy lifting for us. We start reaping, harvesting all these cost savings for you without you having to worry about anything. But if you're somebody, no, I don't want an agent. I don't trust an agent. I want to watch, observe all these cost savings and act on them by myself. That's also possible. Now, I'll show you how that happens. Now, once we show you the cost savings that are available at the cluster level, we sort of give you application level breakdown of these cost savings. You can come to this place, understand what are the cost savings associated with each of these applications. For example, this application profile GPU, CPU, there's about $94 worth of cost savings sitting in that application. Now you can click the button and then you can sort of understand what this means, right? And then once you look at the cost savings available, you can apply these cost savings in 3 ways. One, you can just click on a button here and this will raise a PR. So this goes into your workflows that you already have. Like this PR goes to your Slack, you click a button, it gets approved, and then you start seeing this in your monthly cost and usage report. Or, for example, there is a PR that was already raised in this case. You can, there's some issue there. But for example, you want to raise a PR, we connect to your GitHub. We actually make the code changes necessary for you. And then we push the code change as a PR to your applications. So all that you have to do is watch, look at the cost savings and, approve it and it gets applied. Or you can look at what is it that we are trying to do? Why are we making these changes? So this is a great way for you to understand what's happening. And then you simply click apply and it gets applied. Or like I just mentioned like a few seconds ago, you can keep it in agentic mode and it all gets applied automatically. Now, you can also, sort of watch all the PRs that were raised. So we fit into your workflows. Doesn't matter what kind of workflows you have. This application fits exactly, into your workflow. So you don't need to, do anything additional to get used to this product. Now, so far we've seen people requesting resources. They're often over provision, and we've shown you all kinds of ways we can eliminate that wastage. And the next step, which is the most powerful one, is something we call it auto bin packing. Now, what does it mean? Sort of, we look at all the GPUs that are in your cluster. Like in this case, for example, there are 12 nodes, 12 GPUs running in this cluster. And then what we do is we constantly move the applications across all these servers, eliminating a lot of the unused GPUs out. For example, there are 12 nodes. And by what we did here is that we moved all the applications and then we vacated 2 nodes that you don't need, which means imagine something like, for example, we detected that you don't need, of the 12 nodes, you don't need 2 of them. So we eliminated them and that contributed to $852 per month in cost savings. Imagine something like this happening in agentic way, where somebody is looking at all your GPU pods all your GPU applications running in a cluster, moving them around so they fit into just enough nodes, just enough GPUs that they need, and constantly eliminating all the idle GPUs. That is a ton of cost savings when this happens in an agentic way in real time in your clusters. So um, I just want to leave you guys with that, and happy to pause there. John, I think we can open up the floor for questions at this point. And just to summarize what we've seen here, there is a lot of wastage. There was a report from Datadog which said there's about 40% wastage, a wastage of idle compute in these AI clusters, and we will eliminate them. Naturally helping with a lot of the cost savings, and having something like this in real time will make sure that you're only paying for what you need and not paying extra. And hyperscalers have no incentive in doing this. And the fact that we do this across all the hyperscalers and give you the ability to connect all these AI clusters running across these different places into one places empowers you to, you know, make the best use of GPUs that you already have, at the same time pay less.
Got it.
Happy
Thank
to
you,
pause there.
Pradeep. Yeah. So quick question. If when you're out in the marketplace, this seems like a very logical product to have in the marketplace today, in real time. And so where are you in this world of adoption, and who can you speak to the breadth of target market that you would that should be attracted to what you're offering here, and or already are and in test mode in any way?
Yeah, anyone who is running a Kubernetes cluster in their cloud, which is the default place to run your AI workloads, um, you know, uh, this product is a must-have for them. And then we have no limitations. We are not tied to a particular hyperscaler. So this works on anything, AWS, Google Cloud, but we are also available on Google Cloud Marketplace. Now, anyone who is running a cluster can use this product and get the benefit. And there's absolutely, uh, we work with anybody and all sorts of applications. We work with both CPU and GPU. We are one of the first applications in the market that can actually right size GPU clusters. There's no alternative out there. So if you're running a GPU cluster, this is the only option you have to give it a try. And the best part is it's free to start. We don't charge you anything. You create an account, you come here in 5 minutes, you add a cluster, you look at the cost savings, and if you like it, then we give you the option to subscribe and get started.
Interesting. And so, I guess out of the gate, are you targeting, like, what segment of the market? Are we looking at the Fortune 500, the Fortune 2000? Who is the immediate market for this, and where are you with that?
Yeah, so we're primarily targeting large enterprises. We're targeting Fortune 500 companies, but
Mhm.
this is for anybody. Like if you're a small startup, although we don't pursue you aggressively, but in the sense, if you're spending $10,000 on a Kubernetes cluster as a small startup, you can still use this and get maybe $1,000 savings every month. So this is applicable across every type of company, but we are focusing on companies like Fortune 500, which have large AI inference clusters coming up, or people who expect to have a lot of AI workloads in the next couple of years. Those are the target customers. And this is a self-serve application, so anyone can get started and then start getting the benefit.
Got it. And just a reminder, folks, again, with the Zoom chat feature, you can send in any questions that come to mind through the Zoom chat feature. One of the questions I think you've already addressed, but I just want to make sure. It says, does it work across all hyperscalers? I believe you already confirmed that, but can
Yeah.
you speak to that?
No, yeah. So I'm happy to speak to that. Yes, it does. Let's say you're a company, you have a bunch of AI clusters on Google Cloud. You can come here and just add up all of them here in like one place. Or if your company, you have 10 of them on Google Cloud and 10 of them on Azure, depending on where you could secure the GPUs, because securing GPU is also a big deal right now. And then, yeah, so you can go ahead and add the clusters across hyperscalers. We have no limitations. And let's say you have 10 of them on Google Cloud and 10 on-prem, you can still add them. And when it came to on-prem, it might not directly translate into cost savings, but it does translate into power savings. So you're not, powering the idle GPUs. So we eliminate that. So it also translates to energy savings if you have these large clusters running on-prem data centers. That's also a great use case where we, give you the ability to eliminate any wastage in compute that might be happening. Or at the same time, you get a better pulse of how much capacity is being used, so you can actually do a better capacity planning for the next couple of years.
Yeah, thank you. When you go to the market right now with this product, how do you stand apart from any competitors or offerings that are out there, or is there anyone, or you just it at this point?
Yeah, so in a couple of ways that we stand, there are a couple of competitors who sort of do something fairly similar. But one of the ways that we differentiate from them is by being agentic. Like we have the option where we don't need humans to do all of this. We can have the agent automatically do all of this for you. So you don't need to do, all you have to do is just come to the dashboard and keep looking at what's happening behind the scenes. That's one way we differentiate from the existing lot. And the another way is none of the existing lot know how to do the same thing for GPU clusters, which is where a lot of the cost savings are. So we're the only company in the world right now which can optimize GPU clusters and eliminate idle wastage happening in the clusters. So the GPUs is where a lot of the cost savings are sitting. Like, if, for example, in the same cluster, there are CPU and GPUs, I could show you the cost savings for the CPUs is barely $800, whereas for GPUs, you're looking at a lot more than that. There's a reason for that because GPUs are fairly expensive, and we're the only company which can optimize GPU clusters.
Impressive.
And the best part is, like I mentioned before, just to add on to that, is GPU sharing is complex. And a lot of the people, a lot of the teams, they just don't know. They just ignore the idea of sharing the GPUs given how complex it is. And that contributes to a lot of the cost savings. So in those cases, we actually come up with the code changes necessary to share the GPUs. So we make it easy for the teams to adopt sharing mechanism. For example, if you look at inference clusters that are running, the utilization is around 20%. Like every GPU is being utilized 20%, where you're paying a full price for the GPU. Now, we could come up with insights where we can pack the entire cluster into maybe one or two GPUs. So just by sharing the GPUs in the way they can be shared. So that is, we've done all the heavy lifting for the teams to uncover these sharing opportunities and sort of use them in their clusters. So that's a huge value add that we bring to the table for the teams.
Yeah, well, I mean, and as you comfortably commented and stated, is that you're eliminating a human from the process, which is a huge savings as well in the situation, and shouldn't be taken lightly. And I think that's people are going to get more comfortable with that as we move forward, and probably opting into the agentic mode. I would assume, and I think as people we're walking right now, and if you listen to Jensen Huang at NVIDIA, right, and his speeches, I mean, you can't not be excited about all of this, and you're right in the middle of this. And by the way, on your opening slide, you have NVIDIA and Google. Can you speak to that? Where do you fit in that? And by the way, I've been writing, as many of you know, I write about all types of subjects and publish at Vista and Partners, and wrote another one a couple yesterday. I can't keep up with it, but with the NVIDIA deals popping off at OpenAI, Palantir, Nokia, right? No, and we're seeing values and billions of dollars being thrown about in and around what you're doing. So again, I'm sorry to interrupt, but can you speak to the NVIDIA and Google relationship and how that might play out?
No, yeah, I think NVIDIA, we are part of their NVIDIA Inception program. And more importantly, we are part of Google's coveted AI Accelerator program. So we are part of their 2025 cohort. And we're also working on a co-seller partnership with Google Cloud. So we can, so the Google starts advocating for this product for their customers. So they know how to, make sure the utilization of the GPUs. And this works both ways. The reason we call this a perfect fit agent, if somebody is using less GPUs, like when we look at an application, when we look at the usage of the application in the past, when we predict what it needs in the future, and we also come up with insights like if somebody is using 2 GPUs, and if we predict they need 10 GPUs, we actually tell them that you need 10 GPUs. And we work with Google's autoscaler to provision those 10 GPUs upfront. So so we're working on a very close co-seller partnership with them. So you'll see us very soon. One of the reasons we're in that marketplace is our path to becoming an official partner for Google's Kubernetes environment. But yeah, we're part of the program, so we have access to a lot of the people that built these clusters. Like the Kubernetes was built by Google, and we have access to the people who build the platform. And there's a lot of appreciation and lots of insights that we got from Google's, which we've sort of added to our roadmap. But short answer is, so we're backed by the GPU providers, and we're backed by the company that built the Kubernetes as a service. Now, we're also going to be a co-seller partnership with the Google very soon.
Well, congratulations to getting it to this point. Now, one of the questions that popped up, it says to remind everyone, how do you price the product per user, per GPU? How does it work again?
Yeah, so the pricing is very simple. So we didn't want to confuse people. So one of the ways we price is we price per CPU and we price per GPU. So we charge very nominal $2 for virtual CPU per month, and then we charge $5 per GPU per month. So absolutely nothing compared to how much you pay for each one of them every month. So we save a ton more than that. But on the pricing side, we look at the number of virtual CPUs in your cluster every month and the number of GPUs that are there in the cluster. And then, like I mentioned a few seconds ago, we charge $2 per CPU and $5 per GPU. And your cost savings will be many times more than that. But yeah, so we want to keep a very simple pricing, and that's what we charge.
That makes sense. You on one of the slides you had your team, and you kind of quickly went over their backgrounds, which is impressive. But one of that standouts, a recent ad, was Dennis Martin from Hewlett Packard. And many of you know, in his role there, he touched probably, if not all, almost all of the Fortune 2000. I think that's an impressive add to the team, and a guy that has had an amazing career to come and work with Pebble to evolve it into the marketplace is a pretty impressive fact and add to the team. Can you speak to that and how you see that playing out?
Yeah, so Dennis has been a great ad, and one of the reasons we are very excited about having Dennis in the team is the amount of experience that he has selling to hyperscalers and large enterprises that have a lot of cloud footprint. Like you're talking about, he was the head of global sales at HP, so you managed to build a lot of relationship with these Fortune 500 companies. So we are, having him in the team is like, is like literally opening the gate to all these customers, who have at least $100 million a month spent on these hyperscalers. So you're talking about a ton of cost savings with these customers. And but yeah, and in addition to Dennis and even the likes of Mike Tesler and Ravi Chandra, who worked at Cisco, brings in a lot of relationships from these large companies, and we're we're talking to a lot of them, so can't really name
Yeah,
a bunch
sure.
of them that we're in conversations with. But yeah, so it has been a great asset and brings in a wealth of relationships across these companies.
Yeah, and I would suspect you made it sound like it's extremely easy to adopt this.
Yeah.
And you're not putting up many barriers to make it happen either. It's zero. It's like just get started with this and see what it is. I think that's a great conversation to have in the marketplace, especially today, especially when you're presenting such cost savings. So I suspect that it would also ramp up quickly once you start to get even more traction because of the ease of implementation. Am I oversimplifying the situation, or how would you address that?
N- No, I think that's a great observation. And we really wanted it was an intentional choice that we want to make it easy because the proof is in the pudding, right? Now, if somebody is spending $100,000 on a Kubernetes cluster, we want to make it easy for them to look at how much we can save them, right? Now, we didn't want any barriers. We didn't want to add complex contracts and sales calls and blah, blah, blah. We just wanted to give them a link. Look, so go to this link, sign up, and in 5 minutes, just connect your cluster and look at the cost savings. Now, we didn't want any roadblocks for anyone to getting to that point. Now, once you look at the cost savings, we didn't want to waste any time. The next step is how can we realize these cost savings in like real dollars in your monthly bill? Now, how do we then go from showing how much we save for them to really harvesting all of that? And we wanted V3 sort of kitchen sink at it. Like, some people told us that, hey, we have our own workflows. Okay. So we fit into your workflows. Some people said, hey, we don't want to just apply your code changes directly. We want to watch and observe. So we gave them an option to look at the cost savings, and in fact you do it yourself. So you look at what we are trying to recommend and you take the recommendation and you apply it yourself. And the third thing is some people didn't want to waste their time on this. Okay, put us in agentic mode, so you don't even need you in doing all of this. We'll do it for you. We'll make sure we don't break anything. We're constantly watching the performance of your applications, and we are ensuring that we are not mucking with your application performance. So we make it easy for you to get started, look at the cost savings, and then we have every possible way to realize those cost savings. So it was an intentional choice. Doesn't matter how big is your company. We wanted to, once we start with somebody in the company, we wanted them to start with one cluster, watch it for themselves, and then expand it to hundreds of other clusters. So that's how we envision the product, and has been working really, really well. Because now there is no doubt. Like, you doubt us, just scan the cluster and tell us what you see. So as simple as that.
Got it. Thank you. Um, Here's a question that came in. Do you have enough history to talk about average revenue per customer, customer acquisition costs, et cetera?
Yeah, so we have a case study where we showed 40% cost savings in a cluster in one of the companies that we worked with. But generally, from our scans, we are seeing anywhere from 10 to 40%. And that is a significant savings. And then we are only going to see this really gaining more momentum as a lot of the inference clusters start coming up in these hyperscalers.
Got it. Um, Here's one that actually just popped up. What is your moat? This is a huge market with major players. How does Pebble protect its value add in this environment? Patents, IP, customer hardware. That's a lot I just threw at you. Happy to repeat.
No, so that's a good question. So one of the ways we sort of have the moat is our models, the AI models that guide all these decisions. Now, imagine the models sitting in your cluster, watching how your applications are behaving in the cluster and what is the performance associated with it. And leverage, as if I want to really simplify, we use what ChatGPT uses for the reasoning models, right? We use something called reinforcement learning, backed by a bunch of other models that sort of constantly look at this data, start understanding your environment, start understanding your applications. We start to understand how does your applications behave when we start throttling their resource usage. And and then doing all of this and without affecting the performance, at the same time getting better with time, right? So the longer you leave the models, the more data they collect, the more they get better at predicting the recommendations accurately. So having proprietary models is a moat. And the second thing is being a partner of Google Cloud is a huge advantage to us because we're we will be co-selling this with Google Cloud since we are part of their programs. I think that's going to give us a huge boost and rapid access to a lot of the customers with millions of dollars in cloud spend.
Okay. Well, I think we've kind of gotten to the end of the time here that you allotted for us. So I want to thank everyone for joining today. I want to thank you, uh, Pradeep, to helping us better understand Pebble, and it's exciting to be along for the ride here, and I look forward to being supportive in any way. I want to remind everyone that I'm going to grab this video as soon as Zoom releases it to me, and get it published at the Tribe Public YouTube channel. And so, if you know anyone that missed it that might want to learn more about this, please share it with them, and it'll be up there and published later today. And again, I'll put it in the Tribe this week, which will go out Friday. And if you didn't get all of your questions answered, or if something comes up afterwards, please just shoot them to me, and I'll do my best to see if we can get Pradeep to address them and/or get him back on at a future date as he starts to lock in these clients in a greater way, and maybe surprises one of these wild deals that we've been reading about and experiencing around us with the open AIs, the Googles, the NVIDIAs of the world. And I feel like Pradeep is on to something pretty amazing here at his team. So thanks again for taking the time today. Proud to be a part of it, and look forward to having you on future programs. And thank you so much.
Thank you.